Tyrell Corporation develops replicants, bioengineered humans meant for slave labor, in the not-too-distant future. However, the firm implodes when its Nexus 6 through Nexus 8 models start to rebel and seek the same rights as humans. Industrialist Wallace invents synthetic farming to save humanity, when the planet's ecosystems collapse and starvation spreads across the globe. Then he purchases what is left of Tyrell to turn it into his own firm, which introduces a new, more subservient model called Nexus 9. Special agents known as Blade Runners go after and retire older models. In the year 2049, Nexus 9 model Agent K is currently seeking out a rogue replicant west of Los Angeles. During the conflict that follows, when K confronts Sapper on his farm, Sapper degrades Nexus 9 models and claims that K wouldn't be killing his own people if he had witnessed the miracle Sapper witnessed. K murders him regardless of her disinterest. When K is about to depart, he spots some flowers precisely put next to a tree, and makes a drone scan the area, discovering a chest buried underneath and asking a forensic team to come to take it out. K completes the standard baseline test replicants are required to undergo, upon returning to the office to demonstrate that they are healthy and obedient before leaving for home. K shares a home with Joy, a holographic companion he purchased. Even though Joy is only a hologram, K has grown to care deeply about her, and has chosen to give her an emanator that will let her leave the flat at will. They head up to the roof together to share a kiss in the rain, but their tender moment is cut short by a message informing K that they have the farm chest. K returns to the police in a hurry after learning that the chest contained a skeleton and some hair from a woman who had died during an emergency cesarean section, some 30 years before. Then K discovers a serial number on one of the bones, proving that the person was a replicant rather than a human, given that replicants aren't supposed to be able to breed. This is extremely shocking. Lieutenant Joshi gives K the order to burn the farm and find the infant so that they can be killed, because she fears that if people learn that replicants could become that human-like, it would cause civilization to collapse. Joshi rejects K's concern that if the kid was born, they are a person and not a replicant. K realizes the baby was the miracle Sapper had seen as he is leaving. A little while later, K shows up at the Wallace Company to inquire about the replicant. To prove her identity, she displays her serial number and some of her hair. The employee adds that since this model predates 2022, when the blackout destroyed almost all of the company's digital files, they will need to see if any hard copy data is still present. The replicant was described as standard issue and unremarkable in a file that they discovered. At that point, a replicant by the name of Love appears and grants K access to an ancient audio recording that belonged to an experimental replicant by the name of Rachael who, ironically, had vanished 30 years earlier. Rick, a Blade Runner who made this recording, seems to be quite close to Rachael, as K notes. Then K visits a retirement community to speak with a retired man who used to work with Rick, but all K knows is that Rick retired and left to be alone, and no one knows where. Wallace is testing the most recent model that Love has brought over. Wallace kills the replicant after using special equipment to check all of her vital functions since, despite his best efforts, he is unable to program her to reproduce. He instructs Love to locate the child, so they may create a new future, in which replicants are born rather than constructed, because he knows there is one out there, who was born by a replicant created by the former Tyrell Company. Later that night, a shadowy figure hires a waitress named Mariette to approach K and ask him about Sapper while he is eating. Unfortunately, K is not amused by Mariette's attempts to flirt and strike up a discussion. K goes back to the farm the following day, in search of fresh hints. Two of the piano's keys are broken, and when he looks inside, he discovers a baby sock and a photo of a mother and child standing under a tree in a tin. K returns to the tree to give it another look, and notices the date June 10, 2021 engraved at the base. These figures cause him to see a burning house, and a child holding a toy horse, which severely disturbs him. The farm is then set on fire, and K departs. The lab technician is killed when Love breaks into the mortuary at that station and grabs all the bones and evidence from the farm. Joshi visits K in the evening to inform him of what transpired at the station. K replies that he does have memories, but they were implanted and are thus fake. When Joshi asks if he has any, he recalls how the other children would pursue him around the orphanage when he was a child in order to grab a wooden horse from him. Little K hid the toy in the boiler to prevent that, and the other kids thrashed him for it. The following day, K starts looking for infants born on the date he observed at the farm. He is kept company by Joy, who taunts him about the wooden horse tail, and points out that the toy has the same date on it. K, however, believes that it is merely a coincidence. Since looking by dates yields no results, K starts searching by DNA and discovers two children that share exactly the same DNA, which is illogical. Two infants were born and sent to the Moral Coal Orphanage. According to the records, the girl died of a genetic illness, and the male mysteriously vanished from the files. K and Joy then travel to San Diego in search of the orphanage. Scavengers shoot down his flying car on the way there, causing him to crash. K falls asleep, and Joy attempts unsuccessfully to wake him up, before she vanishes due to malfunctions. Kay wakes up just in time to defend himself from an approaching onslaught, as the scavengers get closer and try to force the door open. After killing a few individuals and pulling his gun, Kay discovers that a sizable armed group is pursuing him. Kay is spared from the probable battle at that same moment, when something starts shooting at the group from the sky. It turns out that this is Love operating a drone from a distance. When Kay eventually discovers the orphanage, the children are excited to greet him. When Mr. Cotton initially refuses to provide the records of the children, who came to this school 30 years ago, Kay approaches him and strikes him to get him to cooperate. Then Cotton drives him to his workplace, and Kay can't help but notice this on the way there. The location resembles the orphanage in his memory quite a bit. When Cotton locates the records, he sees that the necessary year's pages have been removed. Kay looks around the office after Cotton leaves and realizes that the ashtray is shaped like a horse. When he goes to the furnace from the memory, and sees that his wooden horse is still inside, he breaks down because if the memories are true, he might actually be human after all. When Kay gets home, Joy is thrilled to hear the tale and starts referring to him as Joe, saying he's always known he's unique. Joe suggests Kay get in touch with the person in charge of creating memories for the replicants, if he wants to confirm the validity of the claim that he is the miracle baby. The following day, Kay goes to see Dr. Anna, who demonstrates to him the process by which she creates the memories that she eventually sells to Wallace for his replicants. Anna reveals that everything she has ever done has been from scratch, because it is forbidden to replicate real memories to place inside replicants. She agrees to use her tools to examine Kay's early memories, and tells him they are the real deal while crying. Kay loses control before leaving the office, when he is abruptly detained by his own co-workers. The baseline test is then administered to Kay, who fails it due to his emotional state. Joshi, who is incensed, summons Kay to her office to chastise him for wasting her time. Kay responds by telling Joshi that he traveled far because he discovered the child, who was being employed as a normal employee, and that he has already retired him. Joshi is pleased to hear this, but he has Kay leave his badge and weapons and gives him 48 hours to get his act together, before taking the test again. When Kay returns home, she finds that Joy had hired Mariette for the evening. Joy places her hologram on top of Mariette, because she is unable to touch anything, which theoretically enables Kay to have sex with Mariette. Mariette conceals a tracker in Kay's jacket the following morning. Anything. Joy gets ready to depart the city a short while later, since he anticipates being apprehended by the police. In order to prevent the police from using her against him, Joy requests to go with him and asks him to place her in the emanator. She also suggests that he remove the copy of her from his computer. Kay complains that if something happens to the emanator, he would lose her forever, but Joy persuades him that he must have her. As a result, Kay destroys his home system and damages the antenna of the emanator. When Love at the Wallace Corporation notices this, she dashes outside to Kay's residence, and discovers the damaged antenna. She then visits Joshi, who informs her that the matter is closed, and that she is unsure of Kay's whereabouts. When Joshi still won't provide additional details, after Love tells her Kay lied about killing the born replicant, Love murders her. After that, Love locates Kay via the police computer. Kay encounters a man who can determine the horse's ancestry. While visiting a pawn store, his instrument shows high radiation levels similar to those in Las Vegas. Kay's drone scans the region. When he arrives at the ruins of the old, deserted city and discovers a pocket of heat in the distance, Kay decides to explore the closest abandoned structure, which turns out to be a casino. When he goes to investigate and discovers a large beehive close to a number of filthy statues, Kay climbs upstairs after searching the area for a while and is astonished to see a dog. This diversion enables Rick to sneak up behind him and shoot him. Kay jumps to the ground level just before Rick fires, because Rick can tell that Kay is a Blade Runner and doesn't believe him. When he says he only wants to ask a few questions, as a diversion, Rick initiates the holographic display in the casino setting. While searching for Kay, Rick repeatedly hits Kay to demonstrate his good intentions. After Kay leaps on him and after Kay is asked to speak again, Rick brings Kay to the pub for a drink. After becoming convinced of Kay's motivations, Rick confirms Kay's assumption that he and Rachael had a child. Rick instructed Sapper and the RFM members how to scramble the records and cover their tracks. Then he left Rachael with them and vanished, to avoid getting his family into trouble with the authorities. As a result, he never got to meet his own child. The man continues. Rick exits the bar after becoming upset by the memories, and Kay keeps poking around, until she discovers a number of wooden animals. Later, while Kay is taking a nap, Joy is allowed to leave the room for a time. In response, Kay quickly shuts Joy off before Rick arrives to check what is happening. This sets off a machine. They use binoculars to scan the exterior, and see a queue of automobiles heading towards the structure. As the two of them scramble to get Rick's car to flee, the room erupts in flames. When Rick tries to protect himself, Love and her guys arrive and grab him. Love kicks Kay down while he tries to fight back. accidentally activating joy. Despite the hologram's cries for mercy, Love destroys the emanator and flees with her soldiers, leaving Kay for dead. In the evening, Kay is rescued and the tracker is destroyed by an unknown group. Kay discovers himself with Mariette's replicant freedom movement. When he awakens, she brings him to their leader Freysa, who has a photo of Rachael and the infant, and assures him that he may put his trust in them. Freysa helped Rachael conceal the child. After the delivery and during the labor, Sapper let Kay to kill him because he had sworn silence, and had also been a member of their organization. When they concealed the baby, they dressed her in blue to cause confusion, but Freysa revealed that the baby had been a girl and she had grown up to be Dr. Anna. When Rick taught the group to scramble records, Kay obtained part of the baby's data, including her memories, which led to the false DNA match he discovered in the computers. Kay is saddened to learn that he isn't the miracle baby after all. Freysa wants the revolution to happen for her people, and believes that Kay should join them, because Anna's presence shows that replicants are more than just slaves. Wallace discovered Rick as a result of him, and it is now Kay's responsibility to murder Rick, before Wallace uses him to locate their gang. Wallace appears in Rick's chamber as he awakens, revealing that he possesses Rachael's skull and the audio file of their conversation. Wallace makes an attempt to indicate that Rachael's feelings for Rick were programmed by her creator, in order to see if Rick might have a child with her, but Rick is unconvinced. Wallace exposes Rick to a replica of Rachael he constructed. In an effort to learn more about the youngster, Wallace makes Love kill Rachael, before reminding Rick that he has the power to injure him, in order to get him to speak, since Rick is moved by the sight of his lover, but doesn't fall for it, because they got the color of his eyes wrong. Going back to Kay, he's out and about when he suddenly notices an advertisement for the Joy AI, who engages with him to persuade him to acquire her. Kay chooses to exact revenge on his Joy. After considering all the lives that have been lost, he locates a vehicle and follows Love's car, as it delivers Rick to Wallace's covert facility, where he keeps all of his painkillers. Kay shoots Love's vehicle, causing it to collide into a dam. Then Kay approaches the car as he fires, but Love fires back, striking them both. Kay and Love start fighting hand to hand, as the water from the dam starts flooding the car, but Love pulls out a hidden knife and stabs Kay. Love kisses Kay and leaves him to die, assuming she has won. Before going back to the car, however, Kay, who sneaked up on her using the water, attacks her without warning. After some difficulty, Kay finally succeeds in killing Love, after which Rick is freed from his restraints. The two of them swim over to Kay's automobile, where they observe Love's car sink. Kay points out that since everyone will now believe Rick is dead, he can now spend time with his daughter. Rick and Kay travel to Anna's laboratory, but Rick is given the horse by Kay before they enter. Rick sits on the steps and watches the snow fall, as he worries if he will live after being stabbed. Rick then enters the building and finally gets to meet his daughter. The end. If you like this story, please subscribe to the channel and like it, to motivate me to bring you more stories like this.